In the days when kings ruled empires and pride filled the palaces of Persia, a great feast was held for King Xerxes. Gold draped from every column, wine flowed without measure, and the sound of laughter echoed through marble halls. But when the king summoned his queen to display her beauty before the guests, Vashti refused, and pride met defiance. Her crown was taken, and her throne left empty. From the quiet corners of the kingdom, a young woman named Esther was brought to the palace, humble, orphaned, raised by her cousin Mordecai. She carried no royal blood, no title, no ambition, only grace, and in a court filled with power, that grace caught the king's eye. Days turned into months, perfumes and silks prepared her, but nothing could prepare her for what God had planned. When Esther was brought before the king, favor followed her like morning light. A crown was placed upon her head, and the orphan became a queen. Yet even in her glory, she did not forget her people or her God. Outside the gates, Mordecai watched with quiet hope, knowing heaven had positioned her for something greater. The story of redemption was beginning to unfold, not in the noise of armies, but in the courage of a single faithful heart. Not long after Esther's coronation, a shadow entered the palace. His name was Haman, a man lifted high in rank, yet hollow with pride. When Mordecai refused to bow before him, rage took root, and from that bitterness, a decree was born. Every Jew in Persia would be destroyed. The day of death was sealed with the king's own ring. When Mordecai learned of it, he tore his clothes in sorrow. Word reached Esther in the palace, and fear pressed heavy on her heart. To approach the king uninvited meant death, yet silence meant destruction. Between crown and calling, she trembled until faith began to whisper, "You were chosen for such a time as this." For 3 days she fasted. No perfume now, no laughter of servants, only prayers rising through the night. In that silence, courage was forged. On the 3rd day, she clothed herself in royal robes and stepped toward the throne room. The doors opened wide. Every eye watched as she crossed the marble floor, her heart pounding beneath the crown. Would the king's scepter rise in mercy or fall in judgment? Then, like dawn breaking through storm clouds, Xerxes lifted his hand, the golden scepter extended. Grace had gone before her, and in that moment history shifted, because one woman dared to stand where fear told her to fall. That night, the king could not sleep. Restless beneath silk and splendor, he called for the royal records to be read. There, hidden in forgotten pages, was the story of a man who once saved his life, Mordecai. No honor had ever been given. And at that very hour, Haman stood in the courtyard, plotting Mordecai's death. "Who should be honored?" the king asked. Blind with pride, Haman answered, "The man whom the king delights to honor should wear the royal robe and ride the royal horse." The king smiled. "Then go quickly," he said, "and do so for Mordecai." The crown that envy sought became the instrument of its own humiliation. That evening, Esther prepared a banquet for the king and Haman. When the wine was poured and the moment came, she spoke, "My people are condemned to die." The king's eyes burned with fury. Who would dare do such a thing? Esther's voice was steady, the whisper of destiny fulfilled. The adversary is Haman. Judgment fell that very night. The gallows built for the righteous became the end of the wicked. And so the decree was reversed, the people delivered, and joy filled the streets of Susa. Mordecai was robed in honor, Esther was celebrated in song, and a day of sorrow turned into a feast of praise. From an orphan's heart to a queen's courage, God had written redemption in every line. For when his people stand in faith, even in silence, heaven speaks.